All right. As far as I know, G3, we are live right now,
Oh
this
my
very
God.
second. What is going on, everybody out there in podcast land? We are coming at you from the pirate ship studio here tonight. G3 and I.
Hello, my darlings.
What up? How are you, G3? You may notice that we are we're missing our intro. We're missing a key member of this enterprise.
There is definitely somebody missing.
That's, we unfortunately have lost a member. He has fallen overboard and we were unable to retrieve him.
Oh my God, he didn't die.
No, no, no.
Jesus.
He, unfortunately, Monsta is no longer going to be on the show as a co-host. He is still a member of the family. He's still in the Discord. He's still around. He's still healthy. He's still doing well, guys. We're still buddies. Everything is copacetic, on the
He
up and
just
up.
has so much going on right now and so much on his plate that he just was absolutely spread too thin and he had to
Yeah,
make a choice. And we absolutely support him and wish him the best for him and his family. And we're here if he ever needs anything from us. And we hope that he comes back to visit.
sure do. I know we will too. So like guys, send him a little message of your love and admiration. Tell him you appreciate him and everything you've learned from him. I know he'd love to hear that type of stuff. So yeah, we're gonna miss him. And
So much.
but as they say, the show must go on. So we're gonna learn how to do this together, guys. Like this is,
Step by
I'll
step.
be honest. Like yeah, step by step. Like we're gonna figure this thing out. The community will help. I know they will. We got a lot of good people in the chat tonight. I see. What up, Big Red, Paranoid Grower, James, Eric, Slow Lane, Neighborhood Skunk, Istig, a lot of familiar names. So
Mhm.
we are going to, pool our resources. We're going to rely on some people in the community. I'm going to be relying on G3 a whole hell of a lot more. She needs to speak the fuck up.
Oh my God, as if I wasn't before.
Like twice as much. I need
That's just
unfiltered opinions.
impossible.
I
That's
need you
impossible.
to tell the audience to go fuck themselves at least 4 times during each show. No, I mean, if you could, that would be. Honestly, I need like a sound clip of him saying "Go fuck yourself."
Go fuck
Yeah,
yourself.
and if anyone can isolate that for me, send it my way, please. And again, like community wise, guys, if you are someone who has a particular set of skills that we could use, for lack of better words, like if you could help us make like an overlay or something, hit me up, hit me
I'll
up,
figure it out too.
hit me up. And
With
as
the help
far
of
as the
Jesus.
Patreon goes, geez, have we even had that news on the show?
Nope.
I am not sure.
A
So
lot has happened in a
yeah,
couple of
this
weeks.
is the announcement segment. Please bear with us. We'll get to the "Are You Smoking On" segment very soon. Patreon is offline for now. We are making some changes, and we will be back with a
Hmm.
new format. Just stay tuned, everybody, and hang with us, please. Yeah, don't fall overboard.
Yeah. We really appreciate your guys' patience as we figure
Yep.
this stuff out.
Hey, if
It is
like
a it
it's
is a jarring change.
it
So
absolutely is. We're not used to this, and we're going to get through it, and but there might be some turbulent waters up ahead. Just yeah, guys, bear with us. We love y'all, and yeah, put your fucking life jackets on. Eric says, "Thank you. I love it. I love it." The chat's always good for a couple quips. I love it. So, yeah, I think that gets all the boring, sad, you know, stuff out of the way. So let's get into the happy times. Let's get into the "What are you smoking on" segment tonight. You know, G3, please go first.
Absolutely. I actually have this golden goat that isn't so golden, but I'm actually starting to like her more and more. The one that I grew from
Oh yeah,
Irie. So I
the mutant one.
Yes, the one with the weird, like, triple mutant branch. She was very interesting. She was an interesting grow, and I wasn't sure that I liked her when I grew her, and I wasn't sure that I liked her when I harvested her, and I wasn't sure that I liked her when I dried her, jarred her. And now, weeks later, I'm like, I might like her. She's not
Yeah, she's
bad.
growing
Yeah,
on you.
she actually, like, her smell is very comforting for some reason. And the reason why I didn't like her so much is I was directly comparing her to Golden Goat because I wanted her to be Golden Goat. And she's not Golden Goat. She does have similarities to her, but she wasn't exactly what I was looking for, which is absolutely understandable because she comes in a giant pack of seeds and seeds are different from each other. So the
Always.
search continues for that, but now I can appreciate her a little bit more when I'm a little bit more removed from the idea of her being Golden Goat. So it's working out.
Yeah,
So yeah,
you just had to get over that comparison stage to, I guess you did have that in mind. That is why you grew the plant, and you kind of wanted something, but you didn't you didn't really get what you were after, but it's like
right.
you're learning to love what you got instead. It's like, I don't know, is there a certain element of just like being appreciative for what you get in life?
Absolutely. And now I'm finally I'm like really appreciating her for what she is and what she can do. So yeah, I just had to shift my perspective and my expectations of her, and now we get along great.
What's that song like? And if you can't be with the one you love, then love the one you're
Love
with.
the one you with.
Love the one you're with.
Yeah, so now I
Great
appreciate her
song.
a lot more, and it's good.
I like that. I like that. Perhaps, perhaps she is curing very nicely. You know, I've noticed that too with my stash of photo periods, recent harvest. They are benefiting immensely from just some time spent in the jar. Post harvest, right?
Yes, so much so. And I absolutely want to rush that step because I have zero patience. I want it to be done. I want the end product right away. I don't want to wait and look at it in jars when it looks like it could be ready and it should be fine. But it really, like, you gotta wait. You gotta wait. Otherwise, you're missing all the complexities that she has to offer.
For sure. Yeah, I think so. I do think that photo periods, more so than autos, will benefit from a cure. It's funny because I've always liked my autos better fresh, like right after harvest. The fresher the better, almost. Whereas the photos do kind of develop more. Their smells, their tastes, they change, and they don't like dissipate either, which is a thing that I do find happens with the autos sometimes.
I think that's you're like dead on with that. Is that your window of when it's really when your terpenes are lovely and you can appreciate them when they've gotten to that point of cure that it's really ideal before they've started to degrade. That window is so short and small in autos, and you have a lot more time on your hands with photo periods. So they can sit around in those jars and develop more because I mean, really, at the end of the day, their terpenes stick around longer.
That's I was recently on the YAG podcast. Shout out to Johnny and
It
Rev
was a great
and
episode.
Howling and Stony.
Congratulations.
Appreciate you guys, all of you. And yeah, we had a little conversation about that kind of like, yeah, I've just always found autos kind of like they lose their luster after like 2 3 months. Like they really don't benefit from a cure, whereas the photos definitely do.
I think you still have to cure them. I just think it needs to be a lot shorter. I
Fair,
think you got
fair
to get
enough.
to your autos a lot faster. Once you hit that 6-month mark,
Well,
probably not
here,
much anymore.
my wife just got home from work. I'm handing her a bong. She's gonna.
Hey, sugar plum.
So what's gonna happen? We tonight are smoking on. You don't have to be on camera. No, you can if you'd like, but you don't have to be. Uh, we are smoking cherry banana bomb number one.
I can't wait to hear about this.
That was a big rip.
Beautiful.
She's a pro.
She certainly is.
You think I smoke a lot? You should see my wife. That's why I gotta have a perpetual grow, like always be chopping. These are, this is the reason why.
Because you married a chimney.
I married a chimney. Exactly. Whoa, 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 whoa! I need a live reaction. What does cherry banana bomb smell like? What does she taste like? What does she make you feel like? I know it's a lot.
It's getting more gassy than it was before.
Can you hear?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
It's picking up more, yeah, gassy terps. A little bit, yeah, definitely the banana comes through strongly. I feel like like over the cherry, and
I've said the same thing.
whew,
It's a strong one too. Yeah, we like this one a lot. I totally agree that the gassy notes are coming back or coming through a little stronger, but it is still overwhelmingly banana. Not really like much in the cherry department.
an immediate hit to the head.
Immediate hit to the head, she says. It's exactly the type of bong rip you want after work, right? I know. I know. So yeah, I think of all my plants that I chopped, they were only four, which is the downside of growing big plants in big pots. I will say, of those four, this one is my favorite, hands down, hands down. So the one that I would have kept as a clone if I only didn't have to
Have you tried all of the others as well?
destroy it all. Yeah, yeah, I've tried them all. I've tried them all. It's not kind of settled yet. Like there's still room for others to develop, but I don't think any one of them are going to overtake this one. It just
Do
as
any
far
of
as
them, are they all in like a similar profile range? Are any of them super cherry?
uh no, no, didn't I say, or was this on Yag where I said I've never really gotten a cherry, like a never really gotten a true cherry strain?
Oh yeah, it was here because then Monsta asked about the cherry smash.
Yeah, no, no, he never, I never tried that. So again, I would say all of my recent harvest is fruity. It's very fruity, a little gassy, a little bit of like funky notes in there too, but overwhelmingly on the fruity side, which is what I knew I was going to get. I mean, I grew grape juice and cherry banana bomb for Christ's sake. If it wasn't fruity, I would be like, there'd be something wrong, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, yeah, like I find myself wanting a little diversity in my terp profiles, especially with having grown like two of each strain. You know what I mean?
I completely understand that. Yeah, you can't just eat sweet, 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 sweet. You need
Hmm.
something salty.
For sure. And you know me, I love my savory terps and
Hmm.
those meat terps and the
So literally everything you have is sweet right now.
I wouldn't say it's not sweet, but on the fruitier side of
Fruity.
things. Fruity, gassy, funky. That's where we're at. And it's like yeah, it's like I'm just eating like a fruit salad. I need my steak. I need my pork chop. But so yeah, no, I'm thrilled, like I said, to have weed again, and I knew I was getting fruity stuff, so yeah, I can't complain about it at all. Cherry banana bomb though is number one. I would say number two is grape juice number one, but there's still
You can't
room
go wrong
for
with any
them.
of
Yeah,
them.
still room for them
They can
to.
adjust.
You know that carnival game with the horses that you play as you're shooting that stream of water into the little hole there?
Mm-hmm.
And like the
Yeah.
horses are galloping up as they like overtake one another. That's kind of where what we're doing with these four strains here. We're getting closer to the end of the race though, and there's not much room for these others to overtake the cherry banana bomb number one. Just not.
Gotcha. Hail the conquering hero.
So, wish I could have kept her, but man, wasn't in the cards.
Mm-hmm. Now remind me what you have going now. Do you have savory stuff in the like popped now?
Oh yeah. So I well just got a couple seeds in the mail and just went to germinate them in my can. I told you guys about this thing, right?
Yeah.
Love it.
I really
Absolutely
want to.
love it.
So many people have great reviews on it, and part of me just remains slightly skeptical.
Oh no, G3.
With
No.
autoflowers. I
No.
think with photo periods, absolutely. Yes, a million times. I have this weird suspicion that when the root of an autoflower hits something hard and immobile, that it doesn't react well.
Yeah,
That's why we really want like super
we
fluffy
don't let it.
soil that
We
it
don't let
doesn't
that
have
happen.
any things. So
We
you
don't let that
position
happen.
your seeds so they're not anywhere near the walls or anything like that.
You mean
And you
in the
make sure,
can?
yeah, that's what I'm worried about is the seed root, is the taproot touching the walls.
So
That may be like weirdly paranoid about stuff that doesn't matter, but if for some reason on my brain that matters.
I don't think that matters at all. I really don't. I've been doing autos. You know that old method of my DVD case and like the wet paper towel and like
Yeah,
you
I've used it. It's
and that was
successful.
great method for germination.
Yeah.
Never had an issue with autos stunting or seemingly like being slowed down from that method of germination as opposed to like direct
Yeah, but
sow.
in there your
And the can is the
taproot is able
same.
like to. I'm just worried about like that taproot hitting something hard, and
I think you're being a helicopter parent is what I
I
really
probably
think.
am.
I think you
I
just need to
probably
let
am.
our kid just go outside and play. He's fine. He's fine. Just
It's
let him
probably fine.
just let him go. He'll be fine. Like just relax, G. I know. This is you got to just let go of your
I told
seedling.
you it's probably absolutely pointless, but I have this thing about the taproot touching.
Like I've done this method, I've done direct sow. I've had both methods of germination kind of like next to one another. And both, autoflowers then growing up next to each other in the same tent. And I've never seen them slowed down or affected otherwise from doing a non-direct sow type method. I liked the DVD case and wet paper towel just because it gave me the ability to, visually see the seed in the process of germination. Like you see the taproot coming out. You know that it's a viable seed.
Right. And then you don't have that days of questioning. And then you're like, do I go digging for it? Do
Yeah.
I not go digging for it?
Correct. And that's always been like something that helps me a lot. And then I know, I don't know, you can even gauge like how vigorous they are by like how quickly they will sprout out of like this consistent environment you put them in this like, okay, the DVD case method is now replaced by the can. The can is a purpose-built method of achieving this DVD case kind of effect where you have moisture, you seal it up in this plastic case, right?
Yeah, I get it. Like, I
And
understand the
it's
concept. It's
great.
the
It's great.
DVD just shrunken down into a puck.
It keeps it much better organized, all that stuff. And it's just like, yeah, no. So I forget what the point was. So I'm like trying to tell you how much I love this damn thing.
What you just were popping.
All right. Well, I'll get to that. Hold on. So like let me get to the heat part of it first. You were talking
Okay.
about autos and you're reluctant to do it because you feel like, they're going to like stunt somehow. I just don't think that's worth worrying
I don't
about.
know. I think it's a combination of I tend to leave things too long. So I worry about that taproot hitting something hard versus the way I do it. It's either direct so it can just like do its thing on its own and it doesn't need me for the next step necessarily, have a little more time on my side. Or the taproot is just if I have it in like a paper towel and something, it will just keep going until it's a plant, basically.
Mm-hmm.
It'll grow
Mm-hmm.
itself right out of its shell if it's given the
Well,
chance.
I was just going to say
So,
that has happened before I've even gotten a plant like the seedling into soil. But and again, like even with autos, I haven't noticed that to be something that's affected them. Like, yeah, and I don't know why. Because again, like I've heard that whether it's a myth or not, if the taproot hits something, it's gonna affect the plant and stunt it somehow. I think that's just like once it's in soil, just disregard all of that when it comes to like methods of germination. Truly, I think like I don't think that will affect it. Now, if you do germinate it and put it in like a solo cup and leave it there too long, you're
well,
gonna
sure,
have
I
a
can
bad time.
understand that. I'm just thinking like that tiny little taproot, it hit something hard. It's going to waste some of its energy trying to go straight through it before it corrects course. It's just one of those things. Any tiny thing I can do. Now, could I absolutely make sure that the seed's in the middle of it? Sure. Would I potentially like knock something over again? Yes, I'm clumsy as hell. I don't know. It just seems like if I have something that's working for me, why change it?
I mean, I don't disagree at all. I don't disagree. And again, that's just, I kind of feel the same way. I like the visual ability to see the seed germinate. I like actually going in like 48 hours after I start the process and transferring that sprouted seed into the medium. Yeah, I like the control that gives me over the process. I feel like I get better results that way. And again, I feel like germination is a thing that you really do need to kind of find your own flow, what works best for you and your environment. And once you find that, really stick with it. Because I don't know, maybe I'm just like superstitious about germination. Is anyone else like that?
I mean, yeah.
Like, I have my like certain germination underwear that I have to put on. Does anyone else
You're
do that?
kidding.
No, no,
You must.
no. I'm kidding. I don't know. You could be superstitious about this process. Is kind of what I'm saying. It's I don't know why sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. What I do find I have best results with is consistency, and this kind of like you know, I like the sealed environment for them. I like a heat mat for them. Man, if
I
you're
do
not
like that.
using a heat mat for your germination, I highly recommend whatever your method is, whether it's direct to soil or whatever, like heat your soil up to like an 85 degrees, 84 degrees. Trust me on this.
That's very warm.
It's warm,
I
but they like it.
acclimate mine to my.
They
I
like it.
mean, so theoretically, your soil's going to be a few degrees like cooler than the tent. So I keep my tent for seedlings at like 80. So my
80 is
soil's going to
fine.
be a little better than
Go
that.
for 80. Go for 80. But like what
Yeah,
I'm, I'm
that's
telling
very
you, get a heat mat. No, like you're not going to
Yes, a
get
heat mat.
80
I
degree
absolutely agree with
soil
you. Have you ever
unless,
used the top of your light?
yeah, but that's not like getting the bottom of the soil that temperature, the middle of the pot. You know what I mean? Like,
No, I mean to germinate your seeds, to
wait,
use it
say
as
that
like a
again?
heat mat. Have you ever used the top
The
of your
top of
light?
your lead? Oh, no, that's a good idea. Like
I
put
use that all the time
a
as my heat
tray up
mat.
there.
I actually have a heat map and I don't use it. I just put it on a ceramic plate, which conducts heat very well. And it's not on the driver itself, but like on one of the arms. And it's not super heavy, but
Cool. No,
yep.
that's a really good idea, honestly. Like, use the heat from your light.
Hmm.
If you can balance like a tray up there.
Yeah, you don't want anything falling.
If you,
And you really want to put your hand on the light and hold it there wherever you want your seeds to be sitting. And you want to make sure it's not going to get too hot. So if you can't hold your hand on the place that you're going to put your seeds, don't put your seeds there.
okay. Fair point. Yeah, if it's too hot for your hand, it's too hot for baby seeds.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. Yeah, no. So I think if you're not using the heat mat for your germination, check yourself for real. Try it out. Like they're like $20. You can get them for cheap on I mean, shit, Vivo Sun. Just careful it doesn't catch on fire. Watch it
Mm-hmm.
for a couple hours after you plug it in.
DC
But
Infinity has a couple.
I have a Vivo Sun. I've been using it for years. It came with a fucking like a controller too, so you can set the temperature, be very specific about it. Again, I find mid 80s works great because again, that's what you're setting the heat mat temperature to. That doesn't mean that like that's going to be the temperature where the seed is. You know what I mean? You're just heating it
Mm-hmm.
up, adding heat. So, yeah, I think that'll increase your odds of success a lot if you're not doing it. I also, I know I haven't even talked about what I've popped yet. This,
We'll get
this,
there.
this is we're gonna have to be more long-winded without Monster. I know this. I'm trying to get used to it. So, bear with us. But man, I had helmet heads. I had issues with damping off. Happened to two out of my six. Like, what the fuck, right? You know what gives? Well, I mean, what does give? What's damping off? Have you ever had
Damping
that
off
happen
is,
to you?
I have had it happen to me once before, which it's always so strange when it happens because it seems like there's no logical reason for it. One day the seedling seems absolutely fine, and the next day it's fallen over and like its insides is all shriveled up to nothing.
100%. It's
Like,
like
what the
it
hell
is
happened?
literally sudden seedling death syndrome. It's just like what? It looked fine. It was great, and then like, a week into its life, 6 days after sprout, it just falls over, and that's usually how it starts too. Like it just falls over. Matt Fratt said, and exactly what happened to me. It looked fine. It was like
Mhm.
5 days old, little seedling, and it just fell over. And I was like, oh, the poor thing is a little leggy. I gotta
No.
increase my DLI just a little bit. I got little add a little more light. She'll be fine. I prop her up here, give her a little support, and I come back the next day, and it's like shriveled up. You know what I mean? Like it happens quick, and then you can see at the bottom of the stem what looks like rot. Not that healthy like white seedling stem kind of color, but no, it's like it's a different hue, a little thinner at that point too. Like so, it is a type of fungus that gets into your plant, which like all I can really offer you is my bro science take on it, which is that there is in my living soil, there's a little bit too much life for a baby seedling. Mycorrhizal fungi. You know, if you add that to a sprouted seedling, which I did add quite a lot actually for
Mm.
this batch, I find that sometimes that actually works against what you're trying to achieve. It's great for roots, but if any plant tissue contacts that, like powder, if you're using a powder on its way out of the soil, it can have negative effects.
Mm. Yes, I agree with you.
Also, like soil mites, you know, what you like to see in full on flower, like big healthy plants are going to thrive in a living soil with like mites breaking stuff down and running around doing their thing, jumping, whatever they do, whatever the hell mites do in soil. The seedlings are not okay with it. Just not.
Well, yeah, I think often the mites eat part of the roots as they're just processing through the soil. I think that's they just nibble on roots through things because they are omnivorous, aren't they? Mites in general.
Yeah, actually, that's a great point. Never
So
really thought
if
about
you
that.
have tiny, tiny little roots and you have mites eating a lot of them, you can handle it if you're a big ass plant, but you can't handle it if you're a tiny little plant that's like half of what you got. So,
True.
yeah, you just, they're very fragile when they're tiny little
Yeah,
seedlings.
they are. And like living soil is great, but sometimes you can have a little too much life for the new life of a seedling
Yeah.
to make it in such like a hostile environment. Well, really, it is, and yeah, a lot of competition going on there. So like you just got to protect your seedlings. You know, I find what works great is I just dig out like a little kind of scoop in the middle of my living soil pot, whatever that may be, and put like fill that handful back up with a more inert medium, whatever
Yes.
that might be. I like to use just straight up cocoa.
Yep. Me too.
Works awesome. Holds water great. You know, I cocoa is just a great thing to have on hand. Add it into your medium as you need it to. You know, water retention qualities, all that stuff. You could also get like a seed starting mix of like a potted kind of soil, just something with
Sometimes even those can be a
less.
little too hot. So you really got to be
Yeah,
careful. Just go
be careful for sure.
benign. Now, there are some microbes that are meant to be used with seedlings, like Dynamyco comes to mind. They have a process where they're just like sprinkle it all in there right before you direct sow your plant.
No,
So,
that's what I'm saying. If you can like that, and don't get me wrong, when it works great. But
do you think that there are different ones? Do you think Dynamyco specifically?
I think any mycorrhizal fungi can have a negative effect on a germinated seedling if it comes into contact with the wrong part of the plant as it's sprouting up out of the soil. Like the roots are where you want that stuff to touch, but if it touches the cotyledons, if it touches the stem, I've had issues with it. I feel like when I use a little too much of it, or if I put the powder in the wrong part of that hole that I, put the seed
Is
in
it
then.
Dynamyco you're specifically talking about?
No. But
Which,
I haven't used Dino-Myco, okay, but I've used Great White. I have this one called Myco Giant. I've
oh,
used
I've used Myco Giant before.
one from, I forget another one that I've used. I, yeah,
Okay.
it's,
Do you know, are they
I forget, but
specifically stated for germinating?
Yeah, I mean that's it.
I just
Has
wonder, the reason I
directions
ask
for use at
is
all of them.
I know that Dino Myco has specific instructions for both like mixing it into your soil as well as using it to kind of like sprinkle around your soil when you're first germinating your plants, when you're direct sowing, or when you're dropping in a seed that already has a taproot into it. So I wonder if because it has that direction on it, the specific microbes in that are
That's
tuned for seedlings, for germinating, whereas other microbes may not be. So I just wondered
possibly.
if they had the
I
same
don't know.
instructions.
That's a really good question. I like maybe a certain strain of beneficial bacteria that's included in these products is having a negative effect on seedlings when it comes into direct contact with it. I am not sure. Not a scientist, just a bro scientist. And I'm just offering my observations as a grower to anyone who works for these companies. Really, check it out because I'm telling you, like when it works great. You're gonna get roots, big white healthy roots. But like sometimes you can get a heavy hand with this shit, no matter what brand of product you use. And I've found that damping off, like literally 2 out of my 6 seedlings died from damping off. And I feel
Wow.
like it was a result of too heavy a hand in the application of mycorrhizal fungi. And I mean, that's my bro science thesis, and I'm sticking to it.
I
I
can
have
see where you're coming from.
absolutely no qualitative evidence whatsoever. There's no way to put the cause of what my issue on this specific thing. But what else could it be?
Your feelings are valid.
I don't know. Like, yeah, we could say that too much moisture in the soil could also cause these problems. Like
Yeah, who knows? But I mean, you definitely could have a point there.
I'm
Too
just
too much of anything is bad.
I find my best success in the germination happens when I use a more inert environment. They just
Yes.
want to, like, they have everything they need right there to, you know, to achieve success. Okay, I don't want to get too political, but I just thought of an interesting analogy. Your seedling has everything it needs inside of itself to sprout, to thrive. Okay, like you just put it in an inert environment, and it has maybe a week, right, before you need to start adding nutrients, before it will start to suffer,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I'd say so. Yeah.
Like even in cocoa with nothing else added. Okay, your seedling has like enzymes in the seed itself, a little like it can survive and sprout and live for a couple days based on what's there. Now, when you add all this mycorrhizal fungi, what do they call it? They call it inoculating your seedling. Wouldn't that be like taking a newborn baby and giving it like 90 something vaccines over the course of its first like 6 months of life? Aren't a lot of people skeptical of the efficacy of this practice? When we take a newborn baby and just say, here, take this shot, this shot, this shot, gotta inoculate you right now. Like, you don't think a human baby was designed to like survive just fine in like, an environment? Like, I don't know. Is that an analogy that makes any sense or not?
Nope.
Like, am I crazy? No?
Yes.
All right. I'm not saying, like, listen, don't get me wrong. I'm not,
I mean,
not
you
like
inoculate grain with mushroom spores.
we
right?
do, but let's just like let the newborn be for a little bit before we
Well,
start
except there
adding
are
things to it.
viruses that could kill it.
There are.
That's why
Let's
they're
try our best to
vaccines.
keep it away from those things in a more sterile environment. I don't know. I don't know.
I
Perhaps
can
it's a
see that. I
terrible
mean,
analogy.
so
I'm just
imagine like I can shift it a little bit, okay? So like there are some vaccines that your child cannot get right away. So it's a good idea to like your child is susceptible to pertussis. So a lot of people ask their family and friends to get the pertussis vaccine so that they can carry the burden of having the vaccine instead of the child because the child's not old enough.
okay.
So it's like this. Your seedling's not old enough for big scary hot soil yet.
Gotcha. Or maybe, or like we said, maybe certain strains of bacteria that are included in certain mycorrhizal products. We just don't know.
Yeah.
We just don't know. I'm just saying, guys, be careful around this mycorrhizal fungi. You know, we like to think that it's just like a beneficial ingredient in all cases, but I'm just saying, just watch yourself.
You just gotta be careful not to shock your baby. You
Amen.
know?
Amen. Now, let's get back to the point at hand. So I had some issues. I had a helmet head. I had had damping off. In the end, what I've managed to pop is one from BGG. I got the George's root beer sauce, or no, root beer sauce.
Right. I remember you
Okay,
telling me that.
got that one.
Okay.
I got I got another Rom Scotty. Unfortunately, one of my seedlings, I had two. One of them was a victim of the mycorrhizal murder,
Oh
the
goodness.
mycorrhizal mishap. I don't know the something, well, but it was a victim, and so was another tangy. One of my tangy
Oh,
rainbows from Alabrije.
right. Did you
So,
pop two of those originally?
yep,
The
I
tangy rainbows?
popped two tangy rainbows. Lost one of the two.
Lucky for that.
So I popped another. I also, because I lost, a couple, I threw a couple more into the can because I got new seeds. I had to jump on a couple that I saw. My addiction never ends. So I got new packs that came in. I threw them in right away. It was a new Romulan drop. It was called Irie Maiden. Thought it was a cool name. Iron Maiden, a little Rasta vibe thrown in there. Really great looking plant.
Was it a collab
Sativa
with
hybrid. No, not that I know
Jeff?
of.
Not at all.
No, it would have been cool if it was with right, like the Irie Army,
Yeah.
But no. And then the other one's called Pure Crush, which is another Romulan. It's like 100% indica is the Pure Crush, or like 95+%. Just very strong, kind of like nighttime. Need one of those in my arsenal. Whereas this other Irie Maiden is like a hybrid sativa leaning, strawberry kind of terps to it. Yeah, excited for those. Had to throw them right in. What else did I pop? Oh yeah, because I was talking about it on the YAG podcast, which again, go check out the Your Average Grow podcast. If you haven't already, I don't know, you're missing out. These guys are awesome. Johnny and Rev, and then they have like an extended version called The Circle. That's what I was on, part of The Circle. And we were talking about autos because I still love autos. I still want to grow autos.
You are Captain Autoflower.
I feel a certain obligation in a way, but at the same time, like I've come to the realization that as much as I like growing photos, I feel like it's more of a challenge for me in particular. Autos just have some, like, it's a certain cannabinoid, I think. Like, there's different cannabinoids you can find more easily in auto flowers that like I miss when I don't have them in my arsenal. Does that make any sense?
Mm-hmm.
Whether they're pain relief quality or what have you. Yeah, I don't know. I just
I
like
think
them.
it's good to
I
have
just like
both.
them. Yeah. So I'll grow them, and I want to have like a couple going in a tent. So I got the tangy rainbows, and then I popped because we were talking about on the Yag show. We were talking about some night owl stuff. They got Daz on their show, right?
Mm-hmm.
So check that episode out too. And Daz himself was talking about Bubblegum Queen as one of the strains that he released in the past that he would like to bring back and work with a little more. And I was like, you know what? I think I have a Bubblegum Queen, like a single seed in my, you know, my Svalbard seed bank here.
In the vault.
In the vault, exactly. And if guys, if you don't have one of these, I highly recommend this. It's you can get it at Michael's. I think it's just called like a craft case, okay? And it just opens up and you have these different little cases where you can kind of organize things as you see fit. I mean, I will
Any
say
good way
this.
to organize them is important. Organize your seeds.
It at least feels organized, even if it might not be so much, but it's better than doing this, which is what most of us do. Okay, it's better than doing that.
Okay, guys, I swear I walked into Captain's dining room and there were literal piles of seeds from various companies around the room. Like I probably counted 8 or 9 different piles of multiple types of seeds. He was like, I have no idea where anything is.
I think I was trying to organize them at that time, but I do. I admit I have an issue.
It was
Like
amazing.
I have an issue.
Right,
Now
we're all collectors because we want to grow them all.
we do, and I think I think genetics are worth collecting. Like they're not going to lose their value very quickly. And I do think seeds last longer than we like to give them credit for too. I mean, they might not have like 100% success when they're like I don't know a few years old. But if you use the right practices in your germination, you can achieve pretty good success, like 60, 75%, 80% with even an old batch of seeds that aren't kept in a fridge or a freezer or something like that. I just keep mine room temp.
Is there a
And
difference? Are you actually supposed to keep your seeds in a freezer? Are they okay in a freezer? I thought it was only like fridge, like the crisper drawer of your fridge. Are freezers okay?
I've heard that freezing is okay. What you do want to do if you freeze your seeds though is let them kind of take them out of the freezer before you use them and let them like defrost. Give them like overnight to kind of reacclimatize to like non-freezing temperatures. Like think of it if you're doing that, you're thinking like, well, I'm mimicking nature. A seed like goes through winter as it.
I mean, I guess that's
And
true. It would go through freezing temperatures theoretically.
so like, yeah, I don't think it's not gonna hurt you. It's
Yeah, I was just
definitely
wondering if it would damage the seed at all, but you definitely prove a point that
no.
it would be outside during the winter potentially.
Yeah,
So,
freezing temperatures just kind of tell it to go into more of a state of dormancy. I feel like, and in doing so, you're gonna have to give it a little bit longer of a time to maybe like get those. Like if you take it right out of the freezer and put it into your can, like you might not see immediate growth. You know what I mean? It might take it an extra couple, like a day or two for it to do anything, because it's just got to like,
Wake
it's got to
up.
figure out what the hell's going on. Yeah, come out of hibernation, look around. Like, what is going on? Jeez. But I feel like temperature plays a big part in just signaling that process to start. You keep them at room temps, that's fine. The cooler, the better. If you can bring them down into a basement, great. If you can do that.
Yeah. Cool, dry,
Cool and
dark.
dry and dark. Yeah, definitely. Now, one of the seeds that I popped was this bubblegum queen. That was about 5, 6 years old now, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, would it surprise you if I told you that this particular seed is the slowest out of all of them to do fuck all? Right? It's like like the other ones like jumped out of their shells. They're fresh, right out of the literally breeder dropped them. I got them in the mail. Boom, pop them. They just jump out of the shell. A 5, 6 year old auto that's been sitting here at room temp for that whole duration of time took an extra day. But patience pays off. Just don't give up on your seedlings too quickly either. Some don't sprout as quickly as the others. Just give them all a chance. I mean, really, if I did direct sow and I wasn't looking at them to see like any movement, I'd give them a full week sometimes before I'm 5 days a week before I'm digging in there. Like, oh, did it get caught? Helmet head? Do I need is this a rescue operation, or are we
Right, the
just
tiny, like, one grain of soil at a time excavation to try and
yeah.
find the seed.
I know we've all had that happen, right? Where you give it
Mm-hmm.
5, 6 days, you're like, oh man, I should have seen something by now. Go poking around there with a set of tweezers,
Yep.
and it's got like a helmet head, and it's just didn't make it out, and it's like, man, if I would have come in here 2 days ago and tried to save it, it might have had a fighting chance, but not now.
Nope.
So,
Drowned. Well, not drowned.
it
Suffocated.
just suffocate, yeah.
Suffocated.
Just buried alive before it was even given a
Poor
chance to
thing.
live. But, there's just like germination is always the part that I get caught up on the most. No matter how experienced I may be and how like locked in I feel like my processes might be, I still have problems. But
I mean, you have problems like you don't get all of your seeds to germinate.
they all pop. No, they all pop.
Yeah.
Even the 6-year-old auto that's been kept at
You just have
non-ideal
issues
conditions.
afterwards.
It's the after process, yeah.
Have you
So-
considered it's the plant and not you?
Oh, I always blame the plant.
But like,
It's-
there is going to be failure.
Yeah.
A standard amount of not a standard amount, an amount of failure in each set of seeds that goes out. So that's why a lot of breeders give you extras, not because they're super nice, here you go. It's because they don't want to hear your bitching if something doesn't germinate.
Oh man, that's so true. You're right. I mean, if we're being honest, I mean, breeders like to inflate these numbers, but I'll say let's be real. 1 out of every 8, 10 seeds just won't pop at all. Right? Like,
I think
just
that's
nothing.
a perfectly
Nothing.
reasonable.
And then some just might be like, they might just be duds. I've seen them pop, and then like nothing happens after they sprout a taproot.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Just
they
failure to thrive.
failure to launch, failure to thrive. Like, God, you're already 3 days old. Like, just get out of your shell already. Go experience the soil. Make some friends with the soil mites. At least try. For me and your mother's sake.
Some are just late bloomers, and some just don't ever bloom at all.
They never, yeah, I know. Well, Badger's bunk says no digging. Only the strong survive. It's just, we're
It's
not.
just a tomb. We're just going to plant the next seed in the previous seed's tomb.
Oh, it's funny. Yeah, the half of the shell casing that came off, and we're just going to use that as nutrients for the next batch. Right? You know what? No one ever talks about the fucking membrane. It's not the seed
Oh my
casing.
God,
It's the fucking membranes on these things.
And the worst is when you successfully get the seed off and the leaves are still like this, and you're like, what? God damn
Because
it!
there's just like that little bit of membrane glue on the tip. A little bit. You just, that, like, I don't know what it is. Like, you call it like schmegma or something. It's like
Yep.
membrane schmegma, keeping those cotyledons sealed together. You got it. I don't
I
ever
do recommend
feel.
get it off as soon as you can, because if you leave it on there, it will get hard, and
Yeah,
then you're
wash
screwed.
that schmegma off.
Get it off right away.
It'll harden up on you. Then it's game over.
That's it. Might as well call it that point. Like, you're screwed.
Like, yeah, I've done emergency surgeries on these fucking membranes. I hate them so much, but I never feel like I'm off to the races. I never feel like I'm out of the woods until I see the cotyledons separate and the seedling standing up on its own, okay? And then I don't even feel good about it for like another 5 days to a week afterwards, because it could just fall the fuck over one day because it doesn't like something that's going, like really, like
There are a million things going on there, a ton of variables going at your plants every time. Sometimes things are going to happen.
we try so hard to like, I'm very particular about the seedling environment. I have the heat mat. I want to give them the warmth. I give them moisture. I make sure that the light is not too strong, not too soft, maybe about 50 ppfd, 50 to 100, just a little bit of light. I try so hard, but like they just hate me for some reason. I'm just a bad seed parent, and I don't know what it is. I'm trying my best. Maybe I need to have more of the helicopter mentality like you do,
Maybe.
where I worry about them. I don't know. I'm more the tough love type, like Badger, just like they'll be fine.
Yeah, no kidding.
I mean,
Said only the strong survive.
I'll tell you a personal story before we barge into a Patreon's garden. When I learned to drive, first day on the road, I got my mom and my dad in the car, and my dad's just like, we're going to take him onto the highway. My first experience behind the wheel, and we were visiting relatives in New York, and we went onto the Long Island fucking expressway, which I don't know if you've ever been on, but it's like it's not the nicest road, and it's a lot of curves, a lot of merging. It's a new driver's nightmare. Dad's just like, he's got to learn eventually. I'm like, let him do it. I'm like white knuckled the whole time, just like, oh my fucking God, I'm gonna kill my whole family, But I guess I was one of the strong ones. I survived. So did my family. But yeah, I guess that could have gone horribly wrong. So maybe a little more helicopter parenting would have done me good. I don't know. That's for
Maybe
you
just
guys
a
to
little
decide.
Just a little bit.
Tough love or helicopter parenting. I don't know. feel like
It could be a spectrum, right? We can fall somewhere in the middle.
I feel like certain seeds react better to each type, you know? Like it just depends on the phenotype.
Sure.
Like
And autos
certain
or photos and
right?
you
Like
know?
certain kids need discipline. Certain kids need to be yelled at and kept in line. Other kids thrive in a more open and like non structured type of environment. I don't know. Just gotta
Hmm.
figure that out. Figure that out and give your seedling whatever the hell it wants. That's the bottom line.
Yeah. You always have that one weirdo.
Yeah, oh, sorry, wrong one. Badger says, nope, let nature take its course. He says, sink or swim, builds character. Like my fucking old gym coach. You fell on the field, he'd be like, get up, run a lap, and rub some dirt on it. You'll be fine.
Run it off.
I don't know. I feel like today's seedling is benefits more from like a loving, inclusive environment. Not the old school, like, harsh ways of the past. We need to create a more... I don't know what I'm talking about now.
I'd like
I
to
don't
say
know
that
what
I
I'm talking
spoil the
about.
shit out of my seedlings, that everything is taking care of them. But then I also like forget them for long periods of time in certain parts of their life where I should be helping them transition to the next point. So that's just as cruel and awful.
These seedlings today are just soft, I tell you. They're bred. It's something they're breeding into them. They just don't have the gumption that seeds of the past once did. Like the what do they call it? The greatest generation. They're just not the same. I tell you, no backbone anymore. You throw them into a harsh environment with a bunch of excess nutrients and soil mites and mycorrhizal fungi, and they can't even make their way out. God.
They could, but oh my God, could you imagine what it would taste like?
True. Well, just find your flow, I guess is the point. All methods kind of have their validity to them, but whatever works for you guys in terms of germinating, just stick with it. Is my advice. Let us take a look at a Patreon garden. Oh my God. It took me about 15 seconds just to find the page. Now I got to find where I want to start. Okay, we're going into Matt Fratt's garden today.
Hooray, let's see it.
Matty Fratty. Let's see what you got going on. All right, so this is his first day of flower in the joint custody grow along. He's got a big old tent. What is it, a 5x9? 4x8? I don't know. I like it. A lot of room to spread his legs.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say he's probably going to have issues maybe with overcrowding. If this is the first day of flower,
How many are
we
in
shall
here?
see.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
He's got at least 10 in auto pots in what look like
I'm thinking
5-gallon
maybe 14.
pots.
There's Matt.
And then he's
Matt,
got...
how many do you have in here?
There, yeah, look at that. He's even in the chat tonight, so we can ask him right on the spot. It is indeed a 5x9. It looks like he's got a couple in like 2-gallon pots. Most of them are in what I think are 5-gallon auto pots. That's what it looks like to me. And look at that behemoth of a humidifier. Holy shit. Mm-hmm. Is that the 7, like the AC Infinity
Looks like it.
This, the big old one, right? Cool, cool,
Yeah,
cool.
the bigger one.
Man,
They're actually really awesome. At the
all
end
right,
of the
cool.
day, I kind of think a humidifier is a humidifier is a humidifier, but I like that you can attach it to the controller.
That is a benefit for sure. So he's got 10 in the XL auto pots, 5-gallon honor core grow bags. Yep, I could see the colors on those suckers. Awesome that those fit. Love it. My Earth Science grow bags, unfortunately, do not fit in the 5-gallon auto pots. So check the circumference or what diameter of your pots if you're planning on using like an off-brand pot there. But
Air
love it.
Bottom Bags has one specifically for autopots, so you don't have to use the base.
Oh, cool.
Yep, I
Cool.
like it. I use them.
That's awesome. So, just a couple things I want to point out too about the tent. We got well, yeah, Hurricane Gang. Hell yeah, brother. I love your Hurricane fan, the 12-inch hanging from your tent pole there.
Those things
Or
are so aggressive.
they are, but
I
again,
mean, they do the job, but holy hell, like
you
they're
want
that's a
airflow,
gale.
G3. Airflow. Airflow.
It's all of the airflow.
It's honestly, you need at least a 5x5 to hang
Yes.
one of these. Like in a 4x4, I don't think you're going to want one of these fans, one of these 12-inch Hurricanes. But you got a 4x8 or larger or a 5x5, man, go for it. I love mine. He also is rocking the Kind LED X75 grow lights. Real reputable LED brand, Cool. Great lights. I'm sure they run super cool, which is why they're kind of like lowered down a little bit, I would say, off the top of the tent. I don't know. You tell us, Matt. Do they run super cool? I would think they do. They got a big looking heat sink on them.
Mm-hmm.
Is that side lighting or is that just like one of
I
those
think those are the
bars? All right,
supports.
cool. Support bar.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, it looks great. Badger says wind equals strength.
I mean, he is not
Agreed.
wrong.
You got to bludgeon them with the wind and just let them adapt and overcome. It's that tough love. Thicker stems. All right, let's see a different picture here. We got a long ways to go. This is only day 1 of flower. He thinks he's going to need a bigger tent, he says, on this particular day. I would have to agree.
Yeah, I think so too.
Agree. But again, we're going to find out. This was day 4. Man, you got to love to see those plants perk up and start praying. Look at those leaves.
So pretty.
When those flowering enzymes start to hit the stems and they're just like shooting up. Get a lot of healthy, happy growth. Looks good, dude. Whoa. Looks good. He's also got a side tent. I got a side tent too. I try not to let my main tent find out about her, but I do have to tend to the side tent every so
You
often.
dog.
But you got some autos in a side tent. Is that what I'm seeing? Man, it's exactly my style, dude. I know how this goes. Just don't let your photos find out about your autos. You'll be fine. But that's what it looks like to me. He's running a few autos and some earth boxes in like a 3x3, 4x4,
4x4.
Yeah, we'll find out. He'll tell us. But those look great. He's got his auto pots rocking, showing us a little video here. Very nice. Again, praying plants. He's got the humidifier rocking. He's got everything. This is a very dialed in tent. I love those valves you got on your lines too, by the way.
5x5, he says.
Let us know where you got your valves.
Very nice.
Those are some nice valves, I tell you what. Take a look under the hood there. You gotta tell me what brand of valve you're using there, cowboy. Beautiful defoliation, my friend. Man, I love it. Some people
Wow.
might think this is too much. I say, no, this is the perfect amount of, like, look at the one even on the left here, the far left. That's like 3/4, at least 2/3 of the way up the plant. But we're still mid-stretch. This is the perfect amount of defoliation. Like, you're not going to get anything worth keeping down there at that part of the plant anyway, when you really think about it. Everything you're going to want to keep is that growth happening from this point forward. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think this is just the right amount. Do you want another bong rip? My wife has entered the room again. She, at the
Please,
door.
sir, can I have some more?
Please, may I use the bong? Exactly. I think this is a fantastic job of defoliation, man. So, yeah, I want to find out if you mentioned it in the chat exactly what day that was. Light defoliation. Let's see, on 2/23, and he said that the first day was 2/16. So what? 7 days, a week in to flower, and you take 2/3 of the growth off your plant. I think that's well done, my friend. Oh yeah, here's a little pre-defoliation pic and a post-defoliate. Oh my God, he did another round. Holy shit! So this is I'm looking at pom-pom buds. I'm looking at plants almost up at these lights now, which have been raised. Now we're almost probably at maximum height for our lights. Probably at like day 18, 20 of flower, 21 perhaps. So you take off a shit ton of foliage to give those bud sites that are developing as much light as you can. And also, actually, I totally agree with you, Matt. Tried to stunt them a bit.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking at his tent at this point, and he's wondering, "Fuck, are my
Running out
plants
of
going to
room.
outgrow my tent? Are they going to grow past the lights?" Yeah, man, agreed. You know, we can use defoliation as a form of like super high stress to inflict on our plants to slow them down in this type of situation for sure. And look,
This
he's
lovely
even got,
game of chicken that we play.
right, right. But he's even got 2 of the hurricanes, man. I love it. Maximum airflow.
It's like that is a strong breeze.
It's like a hurricane tunnel
Brewing
in
in a
there.
hurricane.
We need aerodynamic plants in order to thrive in this particular tent. But yeah, it looks great, dude. Looks like they are loving whatever you're doing to them. Look at that fucking chimney pumping out the humidity. Wow, that thing does a number. They look awesome, dude. You'll have to tell us what you're growing too. I mean, they look lanky. They look very lanky. I mean, is one of them like a cactus cooler? Is one of them a violet Beauregard? Not sure. So yeah, look, he did manage to, I think, harvest his side piece tent.
You're gonna make me laugh every time.
His gumar, as Tony Soprano would say.
What the fuck you gonna do?
So he managed to get to the end there with his side tent. Looks good. Looks good. A little pre-harvest success. Like it. So yeah, this is week 5 of flower. He's showing us some developing pom-pom buds here,
Ooh.
starting to get the smells coming. Really
Big
nice.
thin leaves.
Yeah, thin leaves on that one. What I am seeing in your tent, my friend, is very tight internodal spacing for even as lanky as some of those plants got, which I commend you for. It's not easy to achieve. I think that might be a function of your lights having like nice penetrative abilities. Is that how you say that? Penetrative? Penetrative?
Penetrative.
So yeah, you got very tightly stacked. Like there'll be some helixes on these, if I'm thinking correctly. So yeah, let's go ahead in time here. We're at week 9 now,
Woo!
right? And again, I want you all to take note of how much foliage has grown onto these plants since that initial defoliation, right? When we took off 2/3 of that plant. Look at her now. Didn't mind one bit. Little video action. It's amazing how much like vegetative growth they still put out in flower. I know we've talked about it before, but like nitrogen is something your plants just need less of in flower, not to have it
Oh my
completely
gosh.
eliminated. Yeah, look at that one, dude.
Look at shish kebab.
That's as tightly as I'd pack a shish kebab. You are right. Holy shit.
Goodness,
Yeah,
Lee.
you got to tell us which one that is. I feel like that's got to be that cactus cooler or the
That thing is wild. Look at that.
yeah, right? Insane. Look at how beautiful they are fattening up though. The calyxes starting to swell. Lots of frost on those leaves.
Really
Right here, let me get
pretty.
rid of this. Looks great, dude. I mean, this
Really
is a
pretty.
phenomenal job. Wow, look how purple that one is.
Oh, colors.
That looks a lot like one of my cherry banana bombs. You gotta tell us what strains they are, my friend. You gotta tell us in the chat. Wow, look at the
Look at
calyxes
this
on that. That's a
size of
fat
those leaves.
fucking. Look at the fat. Look at the. Look how fat that. That's a dump truck on her. Good Lord.
You stricken him speechless. Look at this.
Dumping in the trunk here. What do they say? Some junk in the trunk on this one. My Lord. So he says that was a cherry slimeade we were looking at, the purple one. They're in the posts. Yeah, that's all right. I'll try. I'll try to find that. That's hard for me to do. Hard for me to do live. Here, let's show a couple more of these pics. Beautiful,
Oh my God,
man.
the size of those leaves. Look at them.
Just beautiful looking. Beautiful, man. I told him, gave him a little heads up I was coming. I try. All right. Here they are. Here's his post after he knew I was coming. That's one of the benefits here. This was from today, middle of week 9. Again, looking phenomenal. Let's put that in days for us. So week 9, we're at what? Day 65? Day 67?
64, 65.
Something like that. You'll have to let us know how much longer you're thinking. I would certainly, just based on their rate of senescence and all that stuff. I mean, I can't give you a close-up examination of the trichomes, but I'd say they would hang in there for another 2 weeks.
2 more weeks.
2 more weeks. Ain't that what they always say? So this one's Gangsta Grape.
Oh, yeah.
Straight up gangsta. Look at her.
Pretty.
This one leaf right here throwing you that West Side gang side. Can you do the blood thing? I never could really do that.
Oh my gosh, like if I really work at
It was,
it. Certainly not in any way where I could flash it. And
no.
be
It
cool.
takes some dexterity I just don't have.
No.
But yeah, gangsta grape looking awesome. Oh, he's got some grape jalapeno. Hell yeah, man.
So pretty. Look at the leaves on that.
Yeah, right? Look at that thing. Look at that thing. Stacked, my friend.
So happy.
Was this is another grape jalapeno, another pheno that was purple? Interesting. Super interesting. Coffee breath. All right. He's got some variety in his strains here. Got some varieta. Cherry slimeade. That's the one that's stacked like that. All right.
Wow. She just
Wow.
looks like she's got swords.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah. We'll call them shish kebabs. I like that. I like that.
The size of these leaves. My goddess.
That's a joint thing. I've been seeing that all over the grow
He
along.
does a spectacular job with his leaves.
Beautiful leaves. If you're a plant person who appreciates leaves, then you will love some joint custody stuff. It's like the size of these fucking things, man.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, beautiful dude. Then he's got grow boxes in the 5x5 sprouting cover crop. Might run these 4 with photos in the 5x9 over the summer. Cool. So he's just, prepping for another run.
Ready.
Got that perpetual type grow situation going. What do you have, a chimney for a significant other like I do? Or are you yourself a chimney?
Get that poor girl a bong.
We would have had a second if she hadn't broken it. Just saying. There was one up here that I'd use on show nights. Remember my little bong? Here, we'll get rid of this for right now. But yeah, I had a little showpiece bong. It was like 14 inches. Now I got the 18-incher. This is usually this hangs out downstairs on the coffee table. So this is the one that But yeah, we'll have to get a new show bong. Mm-hmm. Beautiful plants. I agree. Hi again. How are you? What up?
Hey guys.
Yo, check out their latest video too on the. They went to like Humboldt County. Yeah, it was incredible stuff. Incredible stuff. Yeah, really. Amazing what you guys are up to, truly, and that you can even come slum it with us on the on the Tuesday night special here. I love it. I love it. It's the community that never ends. It really is. Mm-hmm. It really is. But yeah, thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for joining.
Beautiful plants, Matt. Amazing.
Yeah, thank you, Matt.
Spectacular work.
For letting us barge in. Thank you, everyone in the chat, for joining us tonight, for bearing with our rough seas that we experienced, and having a beloved crew member fall overboard. Figuratively, yeah, not literally. He's fine. Send him your love.
Lost.
Send him your love. Tell him what you learned from him. I encourage you all to do that. But again, thank you guys for bearing with us. Thanks for contributing to the show. If you can help us with any of that type of stuff, again, hit me up. I want to tell you we have the Discord still rolling. Monster's in there still, so you can you can find him there. Come join us there. Patreon will be back soon. Just patience, my friends, patience. And yeah, we'll keep this thing rolling. The show must go on, and yeah, the community needs it. I feel like so. Join us every Tuesday, same time, same place. Tell a friend about the show. Drop us unsolicitedly in a Reddit thread, please. Just be like, yeah, I heard about that on Cultivation Conversation podcast. Throw it out there, please.
While you're here, make sure you like, comment if you haven't already. Subscribe if you'd like to. That would be great.
Yeah, smash the like button, as they say. Smash that like and subscribe. And
You guys know how unfriendly the algorithm is
it
to
is.
people with our type of content. So anything helps.
It is. And we love y'all. Till next time. You know what a wise man once says. Don't get caught.